No? Next time is next time. Next time is next time. No, don't say that. But leaders, I want you to understand that everyone here has their own lane. Do not compete with anyone. What you may do, and what I do, quite frankly, is I use others as motivation. I don't covet anyone. What do I mean by that? Anyone? What do I mean by that? Motivation over coveting someone.
Right. Because when you let someone motivate you, it makes it better, right? Because you're seeing a person, oh wow, they're doing great. Let me go and do what they did and maybe try something more than what I'm doing right now, so I can be like them, or whatever, reach their my potential, as opposed to being jealous and just staying in the place where you're at, because there's no room for growth when you're being jealous. You're just sitting there ruminating in the fact that this person has that and I don't have it. Why don't I have that?
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Be careful with social media. You know that. That can be a doozy. Go ahead.
Pretty much using them as a vehicle for you, like as a fuel for you to know where you're going. But at the end of the day, you cannot compare somebody's chapter 20 with your chapter 1.
That's correct.
So,
Woo! Correct. My ENFJ. Correct. Everyone has their own path. And your peers, maybe people that you don't know, come your way to motivate you. Use every instance. Use every connection as a motivator. Don't live as an island. Do not live as an island. You never know. People are watching you. And depending on how you present yourself, opportunity arises. Case in point. All right? Any other questions, concerns? I'm here. You have only one chance to ask me a deep, crazy question. Go ahead.
What initiated the spark for you to develop yourself to such a magnitude that allows you to help people?
Wow. That's $1 million, 365. Okay. That's a series in itself. So, I had an aha moment. And typically, it's the aha moment. It can be a tragic one. It can be one that you have to raise $21,000 in 2 weeks type moment that really gets you out of your comfort zone. And Hurricane Ivy happened. If you're from the Caribbean, 2004-5 Hurricane Ivy. In Grenada, it devastated 98% of everything. My mother was down there. I thought she died. Serious. Like, everything was totaled. So I thought, and she was down there, so I thought she died. And I was to become a neurosurgeon, studying biochem and math, Brooklyn College, on my way. And when Hurricane Ivan happened, she called me. People were calling me too. They didn't call me coach at that time. But they were like, bring water, bring clothes. I need, barrels and whatnot for them. And I was only helping my grandmother. I'm a college student, I didn't have any money. And something really hit me. Really, that go into business, just like that. Because now, in my opinion, I would rather help 1,000 people, a nation, generations. Because by helping you, I'm helping generations. I'm able to affect more meaningful change. As opposed to one person every 9 hours as a neurosurgeon. And in that moment, I changed my major. Really. And everyone thought it was crazy. My grandmother nearly caught a heart attack. Yeah. I changed my major for something that was set to something business. What? You know what they say about business, right? What? General, anything. And yeah, and my mother was like, you know, Chris, you can do what you want. I believe you. And that was the defining moment. And the rest was history. And for me, my motivation is that if I can do it, anyone else can do it. And I'm more having processes so that it can be done by anyone. I really take note, in what I'm doing to really better myself. And better myself, I can also better you. Go ahead.
What or who inspires you today? And as well as,
Oh.
how do you cope with like insecurities or like deal with things in the past?
Interesting. I look at my past as necessary. So the things that I've done before, that's a whole different series again. If coach now, back then, was totally different. I can tell you, like, totally different. Like, the whole shaka thing. So, yep. But in order for me, I look at it right now like I had to go through those things. I had to. So I'm able to identify, to engage, to understand what others are going through. So what motivates me now is the next generation. If someone could know what I know earlier, the world will be a better place. They'll be a better person. So that motivates me. And then I have a son, and so again, with that, I want my son to, it's the same thing here. If he knows at an earlier stage what I know now, so he won't be able to go through those pitfalls, waste time, it'll be better. And a generation thrives. Steve, no, we. Okay, go ahead. Wait, hold on. He was first. My business owner.
You said you raised. Like,
I know it's coming. 21 grand in 2.5 weeks.
How do you do that?
That's again a secret. Oh, that's a secret. Offline, but to touch and go. Touch and go. So it maybe wasn't 2 weeks because I got the call in Jamaica. In Jamaica in 2008, that I had to raise some amount of money. It was 41 grand for me to go to Switzerland. And I had to raise, so some of it was paid up, and I had to raise $21,000. It was 3 weeks then, but I didn't raise anything until I came back to the US, which was like 2 weeks. Leverage. This is deep. This is long. So, if one credible person, institution backs you, you're able to raise more money. You're able to leverage that credibility, that amount to raise more. That's the very high level answer. Leverage. If you want to go deep, we can go deep. That's a whole different series again. So you leverage. That's my answer there. We can talk offline. We got 15 more seconds. Go ahead.
Going back to TNF.
TNF. Yes.
So how can you explain some leaders, they have some problem to transfer to thinking? I explained to you some leaders like some politicians,
Right.
like a president, the president,
Right.
they take them, they wife or their son, brother into the business,
Right.
to the public fund.
Right.
Most of the time they have conflict. And how can you are leader?
Right.
They elect you because you are son or you have wife.
Right.
Because you are a leader.
Right.
They have a problem with transfer people to the kingdom.
So the question was, how are you able to not transfer your preferred way of dealing with things? For example, if you are an F or if you're a T, and you see that it's going to be negative, it's going to cause a negative effect, maybe in your role as a business leader. How can you balance that? Again, to be present. Again, for me, what helped me is that I purposely identify myself as wearing a different hat depending on a situation. When I go home, I'm a father. There's things that I have to do as a father. And in business, I am a businessman. I'm in business mode. So I automatically throw off the fatherly hat for the business hat. As a student, it's the same way. I am a student. There are things I have to do as a student that would engender me to get an A, a B for high level, high performance. So I recognize that in different situations, I should be or attain different qualities. That though I am a human being, in general I am coach, but however, I am present in every situation. Okay, I guess that's my time.
So last spring, I decided to try something different. So when we organized all of these activities, right, students sit in responsibility. We have chairs, we have committees, and help me to make the decisions, not just me sort of sitting in my chair and saying, all right, this is who I want, this is what I want. And so, great, why not? And so last spring, because the students in the program said that they wanted to see something different, I decided that we were going to do something different. And what we did different was we invited former student leaders from all across the university to speak to the group on a weekly basis. And so every workshop in spring of last year was a student leader who had graduated, gone on, done something, made something of themselves. And they were not Hostos graduates. They were graduates of other programs, other schools, but students who I engaged with. So remember I told you, we have a reputation for going up to Albany and being around the place. It's true, because we're there. And we go out, and I get to meet all of these wonderful students, and they're not mine, but I claim them in my own way. So Chris was one of my favorites from a group. They have something called the Malawi Leadership Academy now, which is the CUNY version of us. It's really the CUNY version of us. When it first was instituted, it was called the CUNY Leadership Academy, and I was part of a team that put that together. And Chris, I think, was part of the second cohort. Yes. We had one representative, Lillian Lopez, who was world famous. And I met Chris through that program. We became Facebook friends. I monitored his progress over the years from graduating to going into business, and he was the first person that I called to come and speak for the spring semester of last year. And I've invited him back twice already. He has a portfolio of different things that he talks about. And I think you probably were pleased with him, I hope.
Yeah. Were you pleased?
I know. You guys should know. So Chris is a prime example of what it is that everybody, we had the alumni day yesterday, so we had all of our alum come back, or 3 of our alum come back and speak. But Chris is a perfect example of what it is you can do in terms of your life, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of business, in terms of finding ways to think outside the box. All of that is part of his profile. And the other thing that I say to the students that I meet with on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, when they get to meet these speakers, and this will be true of everybody you meet this week, is that he's a great sort of tangential mentor. We don't say a mentor-mentor, because mentor-mentor means you meet, regularly. But tangential mentors are like folks who you can connect with, stay in touch with them, ask them for advice, ask them for a favor, ask them for a reference, ask them, if they know of a good place to go to do certain things. And so Chris is a great example of that. And he stayed in touch with students who have been part of our program, and he continues to support them in their efforts. And this would be true for you guys as well. So take advantage of that because, as much as my letter of recommendation means his recommendations or other folks who come here and speak to you this week, their recommendations about things that you can do, in your careers or your goals or your aspirations are extremely valuable because it really can guide you And like he said at the beginning, it's like, you don't want to just, you learn and you succeed from making mistakes, because you can't be perfect all the time. Actually, making mistakes prepares you much better for everything you're going to do next than being perfect at something. But if you can learn some of that stuff by knowing somebody who's gone through some of the pitfalls, then that takes away some of the damage that you might incur in being on your journey, and it educates you so that you advance yourself past that little hole, right? And you get to the next level. So I want to thank Chris for being here.
My pleasure. Yes. So if you want to contact me, email. I'm sorry. Forget the email. We're family now. Mobile. 347-462-7479. That's my personal cell. If you call, text, I will answer. My personal cell.
One at a time.
What?
One at a time.
Oh, it's right. It's right. It's on the board.
You roll it.
It's on the board. Now I have a Trinidadian wife. What does that mean?
Identify.
Fire!
After 9 o'clock, please be reasonable. How about that? How about that? All right. Now, see, you know what I'm talking about. So, if you, who here has a LinkedIn profile? Everyone should have a LinkedIn profile. If you don't, you're missing out. So, LinkedIn, follow me at the Buckle Group. With there, more information, more tips, more success support is for you. Okay? I know IG, follow Instagram, all right, as well. So if you need, I'm here. A simple text. And I'm going to hold you to it too. I don't oftentimes give out my personal cell phone number, but I did today because you're special. Thank you.